Hello again, Broncos country, and welcome to our special live on YouTube edition of the Orange Weekly Pregame podcast. David and I are here to break down the Thursday game against the Indianapolis Colts that our Denver Broncos are about to take on. And David, I don't know about you, but man, these Thursday night games, these Thursday night Bronco games are really messing with my schedule.
Yeah, I don't care for it.
Yeah,
we've got. I know the players don't like it. You know, it's nice that the Broncos have a game tomorrow, I guess, but it's not. They could not, and I would be just fine with that. Like if they started doing Saturday night football, I know they're treading on the NCAA's toes if they do this, but if they started doing Saturday night football instead of this, I'd be fine.
Yeah, I don't know what this Thursday. I'm interested to see how the NFL Players Association gets this and going forward. I do think that like if you're gonna do a Thursday game, do it before a bye week or after a bye week, right? Do it after a bye week, so then you have the bye week and then your Thursday night game, and then you have a whole week to prepare for the next game, and you have all that time off. And but it's definitely killing my Thursday night or my Wednesday night. And interesting. To try to schedule the pregame podcast here has been interesting. Normally we record on Thursdays, but it's kind of hard to do when the game's going on. So we decided to kick this over to YouTube today. This is the night before the game, so if you guys are watching, appreciate it. Thanks, Rob. But for now, just sit back, relax, and enjoy another episode of the Orange Weekly pregame podcast. All right, David. Indianapolis. Let's start here. Let's talk about the injuries. Because I feel like we got to start with the injuries on both sides. But like,
got to talk about it.
We have to talk about this. How worried are you with the injury? Obviously, the season-ending injury to Javonte Williams, but the injuries on the other side to Randy Gregory. You know, we got some big hitters that are down, and I'm worried.
Yeah, it's not great. I mean, there's nothing you can do about it, but it sucks. Yeah, you're counting on Baron Browning or Nick Bonito to really step up on that other edge rushing spot, and Randy Gregory was doing it at one, best in the league, top 5 in the league level as far as production and pressures, as far as PFF grades. He was playing really well, and to lose out on a pass rushing force like that, even with Bradley Chubb playing well this season, and he is, it sucks. Man, especially that one, I think is going to be a rough one. Javonte Williams, yeah, that stinks too, because he could, the potential there to be special there, I think is still there with him, but you hadn't seen it quite yet. You hadn't seen that really bust out this season yet in a way that Gregory has. So to me, that's the more immediate loss right now, and there's going to be a lot of pressure on Melvin Gordon in this game.
Yeah, I think 100%. A lot of pressure on Melvin Gordon. Obviously you can't talk about Melvin Gordon without talking about the fans' interest right now and his lack of ability to hold on to the ball recently. It always just comes in bad times and the biggest times and biggest momentum swings, which is frustrating for him and for Broncos country to see. But he's our guy going forward. We just picked up Latavius Murray off of the practice squad of the Saints practice squad. I don't think he's going to be our number one guy. I think he's just a depth add, and I definitely don't think he's playing against tomorrow against the Colts. I don't think he's. If he plays, if he suits, you're going to see him get a couple snaps here and there. And the call to him is going to be after the play's called. They're going to pull him aside and go run right, or zone right, spread right, stretch right, right. Like so, I just don't know how much we're going to see out of him. And but Melvin Gordon's our guy going in this game. So let's start there. Let's start on the offense, David. What are you seeing that can Melvin Gordon make this his comeback game and win the hearts and minds of Broncos country?
Well, I'll tell you, if this Colts defense has a strength, it's their front seven. DeForest Buckner leading the way there, really, really good run stopping ability there at defensive tackle, but also a really good pass rusher from that position. And it's, that could cause the interior of our offensive line some trouble with Graham Glasgow and Lloyd Cushenberry there. Kwity Paye on the edge, that's another one, kind of been playing underratedly well this year. So that right side of their defensive, left side of their defensive line, right side of our offensive line, that could be a concern. On the left side, you've got Yannick Ngakoue, kind of an old friend of ours after playing with the Raiders, I think part of last year. And then Grover Stewart in that 4-3 look. So that's going to be, and really the test for me is can this run game beat this defensive line early? Can they set the tone? They've also got a decently ranked, at least as far as PFF grades go, inside linebacker, and I know that's going to set Jared on fire. EJ Speed is his name, and he's got he's got a pretty good PFF grade. I haven't seen him play very much this season, but with Shaq Leonard not going to be available, and he hasn't been available so far this season except for like half of one game, that's going to be the real test. Do you think, Jared, they're going to be able to run up the middle against those kind of players?
Yeah, so that's just it. That linebacker EJ Speed, I love me my linebackers. He's a big run defense linebacker. Like that's his thing. He's kind of reminds me a little bit of ours. And I think that he just fills the hole where he needs to fill the hole, and he's got a 90 PFF grade on the run defense, but his coverage grade is low. So if Russell Wilson's gonna step up a game, I think this is gonna be it. It's gonna be hard to get the play action going, get the run game going against that front seven. I think you're right. It's gonna be very difficult to get that run game going. If we do it, we got to stretch it. I don't think we're gonna be able to go on the inside, right? Inside crap we talk about all the time.
That inside crap.
We're not going to be able to get the inside crap, and we're going to have to stretch it out and stretch the field with Melvin Gordon's speed, and hopefully get him on the outside or get him on a break. Once we get past that front seven, though, David. I mean, we're talking. We might be off to the races if we can get to the secondary, and Rodney McLeod there at the safety and Rodney Thomas in the back, first year guy, 7th round draft pick, rookie out of Yale as their starting safety. So, and then on the corners, right, you have Moore the second, who's Kenny Moore the second, who's been in the league, kind of a journeyman guy, and then
Stefan Gilmore's there. Okay,
I forgot Stefan Gilmore went to the Colts. Stefan Gilmore. I'll tell you what, I've always thought Stefan Gilmore was overrated. I hate saying that, but I think they hyped him up for a lot to be like this number one shutdown guy, and I don't think he's the scary shutdown guy like Pat Surtain is. Like,
he's
I don't
not
think
anymore.
Wide receivers are going up against him being like, man, I'm going up against Stefan Gilmore,
He's not anymore for sure. And I think there was a little bit of that mystique to him, that Patriots ex-corner mystique that JC Jackson also has going for him. And I think the Chargers are about to find out that might not be all they thought it was when they signed him to a big deal. But getting into the secondary in general a little bit, Jared, I want to talk about it from a bit of a more macro view. Just in that Gus Bradley plays more straight up defense than almost any coordinator in the league. He plays base defense. He runs cover 3, I don't know, 90% of the time, 80% of the time, something like that. He comes from that, old school Legion of Boom Seattle school of defense, and what he's going to be doing. Russell Wilson has practiced against the Gus Bradley defense for years. He knows how to win against the Gus Bradley defense. What do you see in that matchup? Because that cover 3 especially, you're going to have numbers outside the routes, or routes outside the numbers. You're going to have those completions available to you, and that's where Russell Wilson really likes to target, less than the middle of the field. So what do you think, Jared? Is that going to be an advantage for us?
Absolutely. And right now, Russell Wilson's favored. He loves the short stuff. He loves to give it within, he's not, which is funny. We got him thinking he has the best deep ball in the game, and we've only seen it maybe once or twice.
But
we haven't really seen him stretch the field. He's definitely dropping it off.
But that's what I think is going to be
yards
there.
Is his favorite spot.
And that's what I think is going to be there. Deeper shots outside the numbers. You're going to get isolation routes against corners or safeties trying to cover that deep third of the field. And I think you're going to get favorable one-on-one matchups deep, and Russell Wilson is going to try to take advantage of them this game.
Yeah, I mean, if you take Hamler or Judy against any one of those corners one-on-one, he's probably going to take that. He's going to take that 80% of the time, I think.
For sure.
But what I also like about cover 3 in this defense is that now you're putting linebackers one-on-one with our tight ends and maybe some of our slot guys. You have to pull somebody in order to go cover 3 to take the deep away. Someone has to go cover the flats. You can't just leave that open. Especially
when they play base as much as they do, and they don't like to put a nickel back on the field that often. So, yeah, you've got it exactly right.
So you're talking now Melvin Gordon, if we're talking about having a comeback game, how about he gets 5 or 6 catches out of the backfield for 80 yards? Right? And you get someone like Saubert or Okwebenam who has been kind of, quiet.
Might be in the coach's doghouse at this point. Not, I think he had one snap last game. So
don't know what's going on there. There's rumors. David, correct me if I'm wrong. Are we getting our rookie to be playing?
No, I don't think so. No,
Dulcich, right?
Dulcich, I don't believe has been able to practice yet. I think he's still on injured reserve. I think
he could have come off this week if we pulled him off. I think this could have been the first week because it's week 4.
Right, and I think that with the condensed week, I think the coaching staff wanted to just focus on the players who would actually be available. So I would look to see him maybe down the line a little further, probably next week or the week after. But yeah, that's Greg Dulcich probably not going to play this game. But you're right. I like the matchup again of our tight ends and running backs against these linebackers if we can get there. Or if KJ Hamler ends up in the slot with a linebacker on him or Jerry Jeudy. That's that's the matchup you've got to take all day.
Right, or you go 4 wide. You go 4 wide and they stay in base, you got mismatch heaven.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
you could literally have the whole playbook at your wheelhouse once you get that mismatch.
Yeah.
So I would love to see what Hackett can cook up against this defense, and I think that's what he should be looking at, going 4 wide, maybe go 5 wide. Get our speedsters out there. Get Tyree Cleveland. I don't know if he's healthy, if he's still on the what his situation is, but get some other guys out there. Get Kendall Hinton out there. Get Kendall Hinton out there in a 5 wide situation and just make them match us up and make them make a decision on who they're going to cover and which one of those 2 to 3 of those guys go deep. What are you going to do?
Yeah.
Right? So, I'm interested to see how Nathaniel Hackett cooks up his offense on this game, or if he's or where he goes. And the other thing too is we haven't been starting off super hot. Have we scored on a first drive yet?
I know we scored a first quarter touchdown against the Raiders, but I don't think we scored a first drive touchdown against the Raiders.
Right.
I think you're right about that. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So it's been a slow moving offense to start, and I'd like to see him come out and do something against someone who's stereotypically just kind of sticks with his own stuff and he doesn't really change stuff up week to week. So I'd like to see what Nathaniel Hackett and his team and his offensive team can get together. So
yeah, absolutely. All right. So I think I'm going to take that as your matchup, your one matchup on our offense versus their defense is the tight ends and running backs versus their linebackers. And I like it.
That's 100% my matchup. Yep.
I like that. For me, it's going to be Graham Glasgow and Lloyd Cushenary against DeForest Buckner. And can they keep him out of the backfield? Can they keep him out of Russell Wilson's lunch long enough for him to hit those longer developing routes? Because I'll tell you, we've seen Russell Wilson be willing to stand in there and take a sack. And I think that's part of his game. I think that you have seen him try to evolve other parts of his game, i.e. run less for all the good that it's doing us. Whether you can they say that's a good thing or not, it can be argued. But yet he's running less. He's passing the ball over the middle of the field more, which is not something that he likes to do traditionally. But he's still taking those, oh God, Russ, stop trying to make a 30-yard play. Just get the ball out of your hand, and then he takes sacks. And that I don't know that's going to go anywhere. That's just going to be the way it is sometimes.
I know this is the pregame podcast, but shout out to Eric Saubert for that catch over the middle on a very, very important drive. That was a beautiful toss and catch, like right between 2 guys. Both Russell Wilson and Saubert. That was just a beautiful play. It looked amazing.
Yeah, absolutely right.
And I'd love to see that more often. I can't wait to see Dulcich come in and see that connection too. It'd be great to see.
Sure would be nice.
All right, so before we switch over to the other side of the ball, David, I think, what are we favored? 3.5 points we're favored in this game, right?
That's it. It's nice to be, nice to be on the winning side of that at this point, at least.
Nice to be on the winning side of that. And guess what? If you want to be on the winning side of something, you need to check out DraftKings Sportsbook, because all the NFL action is right now at DraftKings Sportsbook, which is an official sports betting partner of the NFL. We're talking touchdowns, we're talking big plays, and even bigger wins at DraftKings Sportsbook. New customers right now can bet $5 on any NFL team to win, and you can get $200 in free bets if they do. If you bet right now that the Broncos win tomorrow night, you get $200 in free bets if they win. Just straight up. $5 and you get $200. Those odds are spectacular. Look, if you check this out, in addition to the additional usual bets, everyone can boost their winnings with DraftKings stepped up same game parlays. So if you want to take Cortland Sutton's yards and Russell Wilson on the over on his yards, and then you want to take the under on the total amount of points. I don't know what the under is right now on the total amount of points. You can make that a stepped up same game parlay, and then you can win all season long with those stepped up same game parlays. This is what I need you to do. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app right now and use the promo code TPPN to get $200 in free bets if your team wins when they place a $5 bet on any football game. That's code TPPN only at DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NFL. Obviously, minimum age and eligibility restrictions apply. See the show notes for details. I got to get in on those same game parlays, man.
I mean, I'm a little surprised that you're not already.
I'll tell you what, John, on our show, the Tailgate Talks. If you're checking out our Tailgate Talks right before the games, John's been hitting them. We need to get him on our Ragers at some point. We need to bring Ragers back. We need to get John on Ragers, get him some sort of nickname like a John Wager. Now, I'll think on it. I'll sleep on it. And he's been killing it. Yeah. I think he's been doing a great job. So shout out John, and keep it up. So check out our Tailgate Talk, because he's going to give you some good bets that he's taken, and he's doing pretty well.
Yeah, definitely making some money for himself. It's good stuff.
Yeah, always nice to make money for yourself, man. You got to do it.
Boy, it is too.
All right, hey, let's switch the side of the ball. While we have the injury on the offensive side, we talked a little bit about the running backs. We also have injuries on the defensive side that we also talked about at the beginning of the show. Baron Browning, is that going to be our guy?
I mean, it's him or Nick Bonito. Like, that's, we've been hearing all off season about how well the transition to edge for Baron Browning is going, and it's just so far in his rotational snaps, he hasn't exactly leapt off the film. So yeah, it maybe with more consistency in there, maybe with more playing time, he will get better. Certainly against these Colts tackles, they're going to have a chance. With let's see, who's left tackle, Matt Pryor, and you've got right tackle, Braden Smith over at right tackle. So their second round pick from 2018 is Braden Smith. Matt Pryor came over from the Eagles, where I don't think he was ever a starter. I think he was always a reserve player there. So you've definitely got opportunities to rush the passer here. And especially with Jonathan Taylor not playing, it's going to be crucial for them to be able to shut down a back like Nyheim Hines, try to make the Colts one-dimensional early, and that's going to help whoever's in there pass rushing on the opposite side of Bradley Chubb, because they can just pin their ears back and go.
Yep. So let's move inside, right? So important part to this offensive line is probably the best guard. If somebody said who's the best guard in the National Football League, I'm probably saying Quentin Nelson.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he's just a monster. He's a beast. He every single game he's just showing people up. However, on the other side of the ball, you have Carter O'Donnell, who's on the IR and got injured, and now you have Will Fries. I love me my Penn State and 89 Lions, man. You know how I love me my Penn State. He's not playing super hot. I mean, I don't know what he's going to be able to do stepping up for an injured Carter O'Donnell on that right guard position. So I'm interested to kind of watch that matchup. I'm not taking it from a matchup, but let's see what DJ Jones can do against that right side of the field.
Absolutely.
Either him or Deshaun Williams being able to get pressure up through that right tackle, and then Ryan Kelly, veteran guy, he's for a long time been in the league, Also, a pretty good center, not having a great season this year, but not having a bad one. Let's see what we can do up the middle of the field on those passing downs, huh?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think you're going to see on those rundowns, I think you're going to see a lot of runs to that left side of the Colts offense.
For sure.
Yeah. You're right. And if they can shut down that run game, I know there was a little controversy as to Matt Ryan's fumble stats last week on the Tuesday show. He has nine fumbles this season. He has only lost 3 so far. So he's had a little bit of luck there. But yeah, he's had 9 fumbles so far this season. And if you guys think Melvin Gordon's issues are bad right now, that's something the Broncos have to exploit. They've been really good at forcing fumbles this season so far, and they've really, really got to get at least, I think, 1 turnover in this game just to kind of get their mojo back, if nothing else, to kind of get their swagger back on defense.
Yeah, no, 100%. Matt Ryan they kind of picked him up thinking he was going to be a big star coming over there, and he's just not really showing what he did in Atlanta for sure. But between him having his issues, Jonathan Taylor being out and having their backup Nyheim Hines coming in, and not for nothing, who does he other than Michael Pittman? He doesn't have a lot to throw to.
That's true. Yeah, absolutely.
I love me some Michael Pittman. The third-year Trojan, third-year guy out of USC. He was a guy that was up there. Obviously, Jerry Jeudy, and the other Alabama went to. Probably shouldn't say his name. I think he's out of the league now.
No. Devontae Freeman. No. Devontae Freeman. Wow.
No.
Devontae Smith. He's another Alabama receiver. I know what you mean. Henry Ruggs. Yeah.
The one that went to the
Henry
Raiders.
Ruggs. Yeah, Henry Ruggs.
Henry Ruggs, yeah. So he wasn't obviously on the same line in the first round as Henry Ruggs and Jerry Jeudy, but Michael Pittman was in any other draft class probably a number 1 wide receiver. That draft class just was stacked with wide receivers, and I think he's playing very well this year for as much as he's got going for him. But these other guys, Paris Campbell is their slot receiver, and on the outside they have Alec Pierce, who is a rookie 2nd-round pick. He's not really picking up so much, so they got young guys at the receiving core, a quarterback who can't seem to hold on to the ball to save his life, and basically Quentin Nelson is playing the Joe Thomas game of like, I'm a really good guard on a really bad team.
Yeah, help me. And you're right about Pittman too. That's 6'4", 220 frame. It's a matchup problem for most cornerbacks. I do think that Pat Surtain has the length to run with him, certainly.
For sure.
And yeah, like you say, an Alec Pierce, 2nd-round rookie, doing some okay things, but yeah, he hasn't put it all together yet for sure. And then Paris Campbell hasn't. He's I think a 2nd-round draft pick or a 3rd-round pick from them. Yeah, 2nd-round pick from a couple of years ago. It just hasn't quite coalesced for Paris Campbell. So yeah, I like our matchup there of our secondary versus these receivers. I think you've got a turnover coming in some form or other. Maybe this is Pat Surtain's first interception of the year this week, but yeah, that's I'm looking at that. Now,
what do you think? Do we take Pat Surtain and do what we did with Devontae Adams?
Maybe. I mean, and he wasn't on.
Or do we like? I think. Are we okay with taking Ronald Darby and just being like, whatever side he lines up on, he lines up on. As long as he doesn't line up in the slot, I think we're fine.
I think we're okay with either. Honestly, I think we're okay with all of the above. I don't think they see Michael Pittman as necessarily the same caliber of receiver as Devontae Adams, and probably won't require the same kind of attention. Now,
agreed.
Jared, I made this admission on the Tuesday show, and you weren't there. It's fine. It's fine.
I'm sorry.
But I do think the inside linebackers got a little bit exposed against the Raiders. Now, everybody on the defense played bad against the Raiders' run game. There was missed tackles with the defensive line. There was missed tackles in the secondary. But yeah, the inside linebackers did not look good. And I am wondering, what's your take? Do you think they're going to bounce back this game? I defer to the ILB bro for this take.
I first off want to thank my family for this award, and
don't forget Jesus.
Everybody who's helped me get here. Jesus, thank you so much. And just a real quick just got to take a second to say I told you so. However, I think this is a bounce back game for them. I just don't think they have the run game. And you know, it's funny. We said this against the Raiders. We were like, Raiders aren't the guys that I was more worried about this against Jonathan Taylor than I was against the Raiders with their offensive line. But you're right. Yeah. Our interior, and not just the linebackers for the record, I think our interior in general, that both Joneses, I think they all got kind of shown of like for what they can do. They can't take 4 gaps. I think, and what ended up happening was they found the hole, and they found and you saw some of our linebackers make not bad reads, but just kind of get washed out in the play. And as much as I hate to say it, they game planned pretty well against it, and just took advantage of what they could take advantage of. And the running back had a field day on us, unfortunately. And you're right. The defense in general just kind of was not the same defense we saw in the first 3 games, which is just disappointing. But I think this is a bounce back game. I think this is a bounce back game for not just the defense, not just the linebackers, but for the whole team. I think this is a bounce back game.
Yep. It's called the 6.5 gaps, Jared. You go 6.5 gaps. Every defensive lineman, he's only responsible for 6.5, and you go.
It's not that hard.
No, it's really not. You go.
You got one job.
Right. A gap, B gap. You've got obviously the C gap, but not enough people know about the F and the G gaps, and they're right behind you. You take one step back and to the right, and you're in the G gap. One step back into the left, you're in the F gap. It's not that difficult. I don't understand.
I'm on one side, I'm on the other side.
Right.
I'm on one side, I'm on the other side.
It's not
that difficult.
Right. We're playing zone defensive line. And I think if you're playing gap sound and sticking with your assignment, it's gonna be really, really hard to stop. They've just gotta you just gotta
play your gaps.
You've got to play your gaps. Just do your job. Do your job. You're getting paid several $1 million. Do your job.
Yeah, if I'm paying you $7 million, you can cover several gaps. All right, that's all I got. That's.
It's not. Yeah. Okay.
Oh man, love it. All right, well that's it on that side.
Let's give Montrell Washington our weekly shout out, because every week he's like, oh man, this guy's an electric punt returner, and every time he gets the ball in his hand, he seems to make something happen.
And he's in every game he's 1 or 2 tackles away from breaking a big one off to change the momentum of the game.
That's it. So he's the
GOAT.
GOAT.
One of these days it's going to happen.
So he's the GOAT of this game, capital GOAT, on special teams. The GOAT, lowercase GOAT, of special teams has to be the long snapper, Jacob Bobenmoyer. Yeah, we know you. We see snap. You. Yeah. When there's no reason to know the long snapper's name unless he did something bad, and he did something bad. That high snap, caused us to miss that extra point. It ended up being kind of a big deal at the end of the game because you needed 2 scores at the end of the game instead of a potential 1 score to tie it up on that final drive. So yeah, it just shame Jacob Bobenmoyer, naughty boy.
And good on Waitman for trying to get it down. It just was way too high, and the speed of bringing it down ended up bouncing it off. It was just, you can't really blame the holder on that. That's rough.
That's on the long snapper. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay, so we got our special teams out of the way. We got our special team shout out of the way. Did we talk about on defense, on our defense, what the matchup you're looking at?
We gotta pick a matchup here, and the matchup that I am picking is Draymond Jones against I don't know if it's Will Fries or Will Freeze, but either way, that's going to be what I'm really looking at there. Draymond not having the breakout season that many of us anticipated from him yet. So I want to see him get it going against a backup, against somebody who, again, according to the PFF grades, which aren't everything in this league for sure, but it's a measuring stick. And according to that measuring stick, Freeze or Fries is not playing that well. So yeah, go out there, Draymond Jones, take care of business, maybe, get a sack, cause an interior pressure, blow up a run play for a tackle for loss, do it 5 times.
Right.
Go out there and win.
Yep, I think that's something I agree with you. I think that's something we're gonna see at least once or twice. Just a blow him up for a tackle for a loss, and maybe even a sack, or at least get Matt Ryan uncomfortable, and then you could see what my matchup with Pat Surtain versus literally anybody, because I agree with you. I thought it was going to be a hot take, but David stole it. Don't tell him anything. Pat Surtain with his first pick of the year. I think I'm calling it today. I think tomorrow night he's going to get his first pick of the year, and I think it's going to come from Matt Ryan being uncomfortable because we have some interior pressure, and he's going to throw just an off ball, and Pat Surtain is just always in position, no matter when it is. If it's not a perfect ball, Pat Surtain's going to take advantage of it, and I think this is the game, and this is the week that he does it.
There it is. Very good.
Awesome. All right, well, let's go to game scores, game predictions. What are you thinking? Thursday night, man. This is not everyone's fully healthy. Not everyone's ready.
Thursday night sucks. There's no, the players hate it. The fans, we say we hate it, but we're gonna watch it, and that's we can say we hate it all we want, but the number that matters, the thing that matters to the NFL is how many people end up watching.
How many people watch? Yeah.
That's that's the only thing that would convince them to pull it off of TV, as if nobody was watching it. And we're all going to watch it, no matter how much we complain about it. So that's not going to happen.
On Amazon Prime.
On Amazon Prime, streaming exclusively on Amazon Prime. Score prediction, I think the Broncos make it over 25 points this game for the first time. They were, potentially a Melvin Gordon fumble away from doing it against the Raiders. So I think...
Well, we scored over 20 against the Raiders.
25.
Okay.
Yeah. So I don't know if I can pick them to get to 30, but I will say I think they're going to score 27, and I think they're going to hold the Colts to, we'll call it 17. 27-17 Broncos.
Okay. I didn't think the Raiders would score a touchdown.
No, you did not.
Week.
No, you picked them to score 9 points. So
9 points.
Yeah.
I was a little off.
Mm-hmm. By the first quarter, I think that was
just a little. However, I will start with that is my downfall. I predicted them to push one. I did predict, though, and I think we both did, that the Broncos for the first time this season would score over 20.
We did? No. Well, yeah. No. I think I said it would be like 13-10. No.
Right. You said 20.
I said
20, like 4
I said
or something.
20. I said 20 exactly. Yeah. Okay. Yep.
Yeah, we both predicted they would go score over 20. So maybe our offense is starting to get something going. You're right. The one Melvin Gordon fumble away from probably scoring on that drive too. Mm-hmm. Our offense is starting to get their thing going. I think this Colts defense is a good way to get it going. Mm-hmm. I think that Russell Wilson's quick ball and deep threat is going to show out this game. So I think we're going to score, I'm going to say 26. I think we do score over 25. I agree with you. 26 to let's say, man, I just once. I just don't want to have a heart attack or be super angry at the TV until the end of the game.
Mm-hmm.
Can we just win this 26 to 13 or 26 to 10 and just actually win a game?
That'd be pretty nice, wouldn't it? Pretty nice.
It's Indy. Let's come on. And then let's go and get healthy for the Chargers. That's all. Is that just too much to ask?
That's it. It's
like asking, just cover your 6 gaps and just
cover your
win
6
the game.
gaps and win the game. I know it's not that hard.
I just don't understand.
It's not that hard. So you hopefully
every week we just don't get it.
No, we don't. But that's fine. We're only fans, Jared. That's us. We're not experts.
That's what we're here for.
We're not highly trained analysts. We're not journalists.
Define highly trained analysts.
I said we're not. We're not.
That's another.
We're not those, though. That's what I'm saying.
Technically I am, but
you don't know about the 6-gap defense.
Not NFL. Yeah, I don't know about the.
You don't know about the 6-gap defense. How much could you really know about football?
I was gonna say not in the NFL, but I'll give that. Yeah, you're right. Yeah. You're right. 6-gap defense.
Come on. Anyway, so let's roll into some closing thoughts here, and I would just say, God, stay healthy, please.
Yeah.
Just please, I don't want to jinx it. I don't want to go into it too deep because we talked about it in depth in the tailgate talk last game, and by the first period they were just end of the first quarter they were just bringing out the ambulances for Broncos players. It was a bloodbath out there. So let's not this game, please. I know you're going to a stadium with turf, And I know it's Thursday night football, and that sucks. So there's some factors working against you here, but let's just knock on wood and be healthy at the end of this game.
Yeah, I echo those comments. I want to, it's, maybe I jinxed us because I said it last week too. I did knock on wood, but I said it last week. I said, guys, we have a Thursday night game. If we can come out of here with a win and stay healthy, I'll be happy. And we did neither one of those things.
Neither of those things.
And neither one of those things came true, and I blame myself. I
That's
have no
fine.
one to blame but myself on this.
Yeah, that's fair. I kind of blame you a little bit too now.
I would. I think this game is, we have to win this game. We have to win against the AFC South because right now we're 0-1 against the AFC West. And I think the Jacksonville game in London turned into a interesting game all of a sudden because Jacksonville somehow is good. And we have, of the next few games, we have Chargers, Jets, Jaguars, and then again, Jaguars games in London. So we got a couple tough roads ahead. We have tough games ahead. We need to come out of this on the upside. We can't go down 2-3.
No.
We just can't. We have to go into the Chargers 3-2 to make this happy. I also will say this, and I know I say it a lot, and for those of you that have stuck around this long for the podcast, I appreciate it to listen to my soapbox. But calm the fuck down, Broncos country.
They won't.
I just, like, you know what? It's we lost to the Raiders. I get it. People were mad that Russell Wilson was trading jerseys after the game, and we talked about it the week before. Like, this isn't the same Broncos team that's going up against the Raiders. The fans are more mad at the Raiders than the players are. The Raiders players aren't even mad at the Broncos. Like, this rivalry, I don't even know how much of a rivalry it is anymore, other than what the fans bring to it. So calling for everyone's head is a little bit extreme. I think Nathaniel Hackett being on the hot seat already for a lot of Broncos country is absolutely ridiculous. I think that the articles and the media that is being put out about how he's worse than Vic Fangio after 4 games is just absolutely ridiculous. I think calling for Melvin Gordon to be the worst running back in Broncos history is the most ridiculous take ever. I don't get it, and we need to calm down, and we need to understand that we're 2-2 on the season. We still have a lot of legs left, and we have a team that's starting to click a little bit. And yeah, the defense didn't show up for 1 game out of 4, but the offense started to, and once we get it all together, we're going to be fine. I get losing to the Raiders sucks, but come on, guys. We have a lot of season left, and there's a lot of chance to turn this around to be a very, very good team this season. So, soapbox done. That's where I'm at. And I got off my chest. I appreciate it, guys. And
well said. Well said. I don't know if there's anything left to say, Jared. I think that, those were our closing thoughts. They've got our score predictions. Is there, I mean, maybe there's only one thing left to say.
I think there's one thing left to say. And after everything, after a Raiders loss, going into a Thursday game, this is the most important thing to say. After 39 minutes of our podcast, it all boils down to one thing, David, and that is Go Broncos.